Yes, we're going to interrupt our regularly scheduled program over at KRAHV. Why? Well, because we've got another guest for our ACE program, Arts, Culture, and Entertainment. I wanted to welcome Craig Colley. I'll give your backstory in a second. But first, Craig, how are you today?
Doing great. How you doing, John?
And everyone's like, who is this guy? What are we going to learn about him? Well, Craig, I met maybe 2 weeks now. We were at a jam session over at the gallery at Twin Lakes, and Craig is a great keyboard player, and we sit in on Tuesdays and just have a little jam session, and we've bonded through music and getting to know you. You're just a great guy, and to learn your story, it was one of those that we have to share it on the air. So
awesome.
Have I built enough anticipation?
No, keep going. That's good.
You don't have to say anything, Craig. But Craig is just a great guy, and you'll learn about this in a second. But a little backstory. Craig Colley is a 50-plus year veteran of the music business who started playing gigs in 1966 at age 11. That makes you, what, like 29 right now?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to take the easy one there. With over 12,000 live performances and 35,000 plus hours on stage, along with writing, recording, and producing thousands of songs, originals, and covers. An author of You Can Make Money in Music. I might need to read your book on Amazon. And also a Guinness World Record holder, member of the first underwater rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like unfortunate and very cool. As a composer, he has had music featured on several ABC, VH1 television shows, etc., etc. But now we're going to be talking about your story and how significant it is. But as the founder and president and whatever you want to call it, composer, I guess mostly, for soft, soothing sounds. All right, Craig, I gave the backstory of you, and we want to talk about why you created soft, soothing sounds. But that's a long career. What's kept you in the music industry as long as you have?
I think it just all started in 1964 when I saw the Beatles and Ed Sullivan, and it just triggered something, and I've never lost it. I have a constant desire to create and play and perform and make people happy through that. Mm-hmm. And through the career, all the different gigs you have, and a lot of other things that musicians do to support their career, because a lot of times you can't make a living completely from music at the start, so you're always doing other things to support it. But somehow I had a natural sense of business and marketing along with the gigs and playing the music. And there's a certain discipline that musicians have when they learn their instruments, especially if you learn several of them and how they work together. Yeah. And I've just always had a desire to keep doing it, and it's still burning inside me today. The way that Soft Soothing Sounds came about is I had been doing lots of different work, and then I kind of retired from playing live and did a lot of studio work and sessions and things. And about a year and a half ago, being a musician, hearing is primary, you need to have your ears,
It's the gig, yeah.
It's the gig.
Yeah.
And I had a sudden hearing loss in my left ear. It just disappeared within seconds, and tinnitus came on. And
how long ago was that?
This was in February of 2022.
Okay.
And I'm also a cancer survivor, so I've been dealing with that, a lot of side effects of having a cancer called CLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia, which I control and I can live with it, and I'm doing okay. But I've become aware of mortality and just things that are important in life and how to help others through my journeys. Mm. And when I had the hearing loss, it just kind of spiraled me into a sort of depression, because I thought I could work around it, but I couldn't. And if I played a chord on the piano, it sounded like a big blur or distortion in my head, so I didn't know what I was going to do, because my whole life has been listening and playing music and being out in front of people doing that and recordings and so on. And during that time, I was searching for anything I could do to help myself to figure out how I'm going to, work through this. Because I could still hear out of my right ear, but my left ear all the high end was gone. Had endless tests, doctors, and nobody could figure out what caused it. And the tinnitus, the ringing constantly. And I know a lot of people have. I think the stat is over 50 million people have tinnitus. So it's very bothersome. And so I searched for things to help myself, and I found that nature sounds and soft music and things that were what I refer to as positive distractions. You can't get rid of it, but you can distract yourself from it. and that helps with pain management and healing as well. Just to not think about it all the time. Here's something else to do. And I'm a person of faith, and so I was, always, trying to figure out why this happened or what I was supposed to experience, what was a takeaway from this. And miraculously, a month or two later, the hearing started coming back and the tinnitus started going away. And to me, that was a miracle from God. So I figured, since I searched and found a lot of, nature sounds and soft music, and I had created tons of the songs and pieces that I had composed, I decided to start my own family channels doing that to help others. Because I was meant to experience that loss and what you felt like emotionally, and not only in how it affects you physically and your whole life, and to get it back was just a gift. So I've taken that gift, and I've honestly, Mammoth has been one of the most incredible places to do this. Fortunately, we have some friends that have been very gracious to help us and give us places to stay. And I did a lot of filming here, a lot of hiking, and composed music. And the floodgate just turned on. I recorded 8 albums in about 6 months.
This is like 2022 to now, right? So
yeah.
Okay.
And which are all available on the streaming services under my name, Craig Colley. And then the Soft Soothing Sounds channel was a series of videos from all around Mammoth area, Yosemite, and not just here, but mostly a lot of it's shot here because there's just beauty is everywhere here. Nature is, it's just plentiful here. Yeah. And so I put we have hundreds and hundreds of videos, and there's 5 different channels. And one of the channels is called On Location with Craig, where I actually narrate the journeys that I take. Okay. Talk about the gear, talk about how you shoot things, talk about how you travel, and just having fun for people who can't maybe go on a hike and go up to elevation and do all those things. And then I also incorporated aerial footage. So. And then this last summer,
are you flying the planes, or?
Yeah, I'm flying the plane. It's a small plane. It's small. Okay. Nice. I'm not in it.
Okay. Oh, it's a drone.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
There you go.
Right.
And then this summer, came back, and now I've shot about 9 music videos out in different places here in the Mammoth area that will be released throughout the next year. This is something that people really need because everybody is so stressed, everybody's so busy, and everybody has priorities all over the place. And self-care is a huge thing that people are in need of. And this is a way that you can take a break and listen to this or watch the videos, and then some of the other channels have just nature sounds, or I have a channel called Soft Soothing Black Screen where it's just the sounds without any pictures, so you can use them at nighttime. So it's a variety of all sorts of great things that has been very beneficial from the people who follow it on YouTube and all the streaming services.
Absolutely. All right, so some of the videos, I guess, are short, right? If you've got 15 minutes to maybe meditate, you maybe have those options.
Actually,
and then 8 hours to 10 hours, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, most of them are 3 to 10 hours long.
3 to 10 hours long, but you can break them down.
Sure.
I think I guess for me, hearing this, that distraction is really key as we get older and information is now coming after us so fast. Right. We do get bombarded with our own thoughts. Yeah, it's just too much, and it's really making a concerted effort to slow down. I guess meditate is what we've been doing for eons. Pray, I guess, in certain cultures, maybe all cultures, but the terminology is different for everyone, but the method is the same. Stop thinking for a minute. Right. Distract yourself with either silence and or something that can help bridge that gap to that silence or stillness of thought. And music is certainly a great way to do that. Nature, I think, number one, and I think you've nailed it, but very few of us have our backyard and can go out there and sit by a stream and have those frequencies that are of nature, of the earth, and are going to do that for us naturally. So soft, soothing sounds, you've actually upped it a notch, because now we can be in our bedrooms and not have to be if it's a cold winter day.
Exactly.
To have birds chirping and sounds of nature and the music that you're writing. And we're going to play a snippet for that at the end of our segment, just to give folks an idea of what the music sounds like. How important, I guess, for me as a musician, and I'm into the theory of music. How much of it is concerted towards, like, I know a frequency that's going to help heal this and that? Like, for example, they'll say 528 is like the God's love frequency or something like that. There's a quote for that. Do you take any of that into account, or is it just it feels good to you?
It's kind of both. I think if you think about when you go out into a natural setting and you hear an ocean, or you hear a rainstorm, or you hear water flowing, there's something about the frequencies, that white noise frequency, and it's pretty vast.
Yes.
But there are frequencies inside that do affect us differently. So sometimes when I compose, I try and find keys that are maybe along the lines of those frequencies, but it's not always that way. And most of the music is completely improv. It just, whatever, I just hit the record button and start playing. And when you listen to the different albums, there's 8 albums and they all have a theme to them. You'll see that they kind of flow just independently, and they go in and out of those frequencies, and they're not really specific for the stay on 567 or something like that, because I probably couldn't think that way if I'm just doing full improv on the keyboard. And even when you and I were jamming together, I'd play a little bit, and then you would pick up on it, and we'd play a little bit, that type of thing. So
my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it was really fun doing that with you, so I enjoyed that. But that is something that I do take into consideration, but I honestly haven't studied the science of it yet. I think I maybe have stumbled into it by not really being that aware of what the keys were or what the frequencies were.
Right.
Because I've had a lot of people respond to different tracks and tell me this one really resonates with them, and I've gone back and tried to figure out, well, what frequency was that in? What key was that in? Where did I go with it?
Yeah. They say I think it's maybe the future of. We have the science part of things where we have to have the science as humans to validate a lot. The spirit part of it maybe starting to become more prevalent, obviously, with religion being important and prayer, people going to church, their upbringing. We recognize that, but when it comes right down to reality, it's got to be, where's the math, or where's the science behind this to justify maybe what we're feeling and we can't identify. But I believe that frequencies are one of those elements that we're just kind of getting into that. Maybe YouTube even has allowed us to open that up a little bit more towards healing, because you can type in tinnitus and it'll give you a list of, okay, it's going to be 639 or 528 or whatever the frequencies that are well known. But I appreciate that you're finding it naturally. I really do, because I think that's really the key. When you listen to some of those frequencies, it's not so much, it is going to be about what you tell yourself the outcome is. I think there's a big part of it. But if you just feel good, like for example, for years ago, I typed in the word happiness frequency, right? And I was like, okay, let me just see if I can. I'm almost like doubtful. Let's just see if I feel. And then getting over myself and saying, okay, I have to allow this to feel good. And then, okay, this one does make me feel good. Naturally, I'm not thinking about it. So kudos to you for taking on this endeavor. Soft, soothing sounds on YouTube. There's a website, all of the information that you need. We have Craig Colley, the composer and or founder of Soft, Soothing Sounds. All right, my friend. Well, what else? Tell me. There's so much going on.
What else I'd like to mention is a lot of times I'll take some of the pieces and mix them with the nature sounds and different sounds.
Okay.
And that has a different vibe to it too, because and sometimes I'll mix the music a little bit lower than maybe a flowing stream, and maybe put a little reverb on it so it's kind of in the background, so it's a little different experience. Because I know that some people have used it in hospice. Some people use it in salons. They use it in doctors' offices. I have an audio version where you can actually lease an audio player that has 120 hours of nature sounds and music, and you can just choose what you want to play. And a lot of different businesses are starting to use that now, because there's nothing worse than dead air in a stressful place. So sounds and music change. It's not like a soundscape. It's like a background track for your life sometimes. And even people have told me that they listen to it while they're hiking. They listen to the music because you're looking at a mountain range, and then you have this beautiful music playing while you're hiking, and it enhances the experience.
Yeah.
And anything you can do to just make yourself happier, because I've met so many people that are just so they seem happy, but they're really not. They're so distracted and so impacted by constant bombardment of ads and your text things going off there it goes.
My manager
right there.
Amazing.
So there's all sorts of things, but the one thing I did want to mention, I am now putting together a show that is improv piano with nature sounds that I can do live. Mm-hmm. So I'm starting to book that as a small concert type thing, and something is just something. It's very different because it incorporates all these elements. It doesn't have the visual, but it has all the sound. So I do that live now. So it's
very good.
There.
No, I find that as well on Soft Soothing Sounds.
Not yet. That's coming.
But you have another website. You have a global website, and then there's spin-offs. Yes.
Yeah, the main website is softsoothingsounds.com, and has a link. And there's 5 different channels. One channel is music with nature sounds and all the videos. Another channel is just my music, just an artist channel. Craig Colley, My Music.
Colley.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then there's a third channel that has just the visuals with the nature sounds. And then so many of them have been recorded here. And a lot of them I say it was Sherwin Creek, or it was Tuolumne, or it was Dead Man's Creek, or things like that. And I labeled them so they're actually that location. That's what you're hearing when you listen to it. Another one is the black screens, where it's all the sounds without any visual. Mm-hmm. And then the 5th one is on location with Craig, where I should take you on the journeys. And it's over 600 videos on that.
Wow,
hundreds of thousands of views. And I do it all. We did one here a little bit ago, in the studio. So this will be one of them that that I will post.
I should have dressed for that occasion.
You look great.
Oh my God, I look like I'm from the mountains.
That you do.
I'm proud of that. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And this has happened over just the last year?
Yeah, it's just exploded. And I can't even explain how I played all this music. And honestly, sometimes I have to ask Alexa or Siri what the name of the song is, because there's probably 70 or 80 of them, and I don't remember all the names, and I wrote them all, so there's a lot of content. It just poured out of me, and it still is. So it's I'm just so grateful. I'm so blessed.
Well, very inspiring to anyone who thinks like, okay, we're not going to give your age, but for how many years was it?
412.
50 plus years, let's just put it that way. And you figure he was 11 when he got into music. Very inspirational for anyone, really, myself included, and that is, hey, we got time on the planet. What are we going to do with it? We can be creative. We can find a new hobby or something like that, and why not?
Yeah.
If you can write out 8 albums in a year with countless music plus the videos. And I love that it's I can hear Sherman Creek in the middle of winter from your website and from the YouTube Soft Soothing Sounds. It's all on the piano, yes? Do you do layering with percussion or anything like that?
Not on these albums. I play multiple instruments, so my main instrument actually is guitar. So
is that right?
Yeah, and someday we'll do that together too.
Wow, very cool.
But this has just been dedicated to piano and ambient sounds, a lot of that. And I will be bringing in other instruments and making them more production type sounds I have, or pieces. That's coming. I just, when I launched it just poured out of me this music just kept coming. And I literally just sit down and hit the record button, and the pieces came out done, and it was like I was taking dictation or something. It was just such a gift, and it's happened over and over again. The last album I recorded last year during that big rainstorm, I literally sat there looking out the window and recorded 8 or 9 pieces of that while that storm was happening. And that album is a new one called Drops. It just came out. Mm-hmm. And if you hear it, you'll hear that there's nature sounds, but it's very drop-like. The songs sound like rain, so I try to make it sound that way.
Not a hurricane, though.
Not a hurricane.
Okay,
no.
Nice. Soft soothing.
Another album. My wife Karen is in the studio with us, and a year and a half ago we went to Bodie, and it was very inspirational. So I shot a lot of pictures with no intention of doing this at that time, because I hadn't had this happen. And so one of the albums is called Bodie, and the music is kind of not sad, but kind of dramatic, because it's what Bodie's the feel when you go to Bodie. What that's
those
like.
ghosts hanging out there too. Right?
So some of them have themes like that, and a lot of them just have a single word that describes the album. So
okay, good. And for healing qualities, I think that's all of us, but some with like specific ailments that we can look at and maybe shout at ourselves about. If that's the right way to put it. Because whenever we have something physical, it draws attention to itself, and it's hard to kind of mentally get away from that.
Right.
And I'm just reiterating what you're saying, and that is that thing called distraction. And I think for me, my perspective is you distract yourself from manifesting more of the things that you don't want. Because if you're focusing on something that you don't like, it's kind of like you're not helping it.
Well, maybe it'll help you with your own self-talk, because a lot of people have negative self-talk that they tell themselves in their own head. And how do you get away from that unless you pull yourself off something that's going to really take your focus off about yourself, what you may be doing to yourself. So I think a lot of those things are very helpful, and all you got to do is, click a button and listen these days, and still people don't do it. Still it's like, well, I'll get back to it. I'm going through something right now. I hear that a lot. And, well, that's what it's for. When you are going through something, put it on.
Yeah.
That's what it's amazing the difference that it makes in your life just by having a little soft music playing in the background or nature sound, and it just changes your disposition. There's something magical about it.
Yeah.
And we know what music does to people in general anyway. All the different music that you play here on this station is awesome because it's such a wide variety. I listen to it and it's like, I can't believe the playlist and who's doing this? And then turn out I meet the guy, and you and Josie, and it's just, it's awesome. So this is a great station, very unique.
Yeah.
Very unique.
We appreciate that. And here's your 20 spot.
I thought you said 50.
All right, we're going to cut to commercial now. Oh, that's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with Craig Colley, the composer and founder of Soft Soothing Sounds. You can find that on YouTube. Go to the website and find the different links. Sounds here of the Eastern Sierra, which I think is a bonus. Footage of the Eastern Sierra. And for me, that footage is going to really mean a lot in the wintertime for me, because now I'm outside doing it myself and having those experiences.
Last winter I came back in February and I had I just hit it at the right time, and I had that break and I went out and shot some unreal winter footage here. One of the best was going in the Owens River Valley in the wintertime. Just like, it was like marshmallows everywhere. The snow was just everywhere. It was so beautiful.
Right. So if you live in an area maybe where there isn't snow, or you're missing snow right now, and you're like, hey, I'd like to maybe, I'm not appreciating the summer quite enough. Go watch the video there and see how magical our winters are. But maybe it'll even do the opposite effect and bring up the appreciation for what we're experiencing right now, which is absolutely perfect weather. All right, Craig, is there something that I have not asked you that you'd like to share with our listeners?
No, I just want to say how thankful I am that for the people that I've met, I've fallen into the music community here, and just by chance, stopping by the art gallery and meeting Robert and Sue, and how all of it, meeting you through that experience and the gigs we played together, and all the people I've met, and some of the musicians that I met, we've gone hiking together, so it's just been a wonderful experience. And I've been coming up here for well over 25 years, and this has been the best summer by far as just getting back into the music scene and playing and, doing the things we've done. Yeah. Last week we did 3 gigs together,
That's right.
Just where did that come from?
Yeah, that was kind of spurred up, but we had the opportunity to do that at different locations and play with some great friends and ultimately great audiences. We had, I think it was like 60-something people, right?
Yeah.
Like last Friday over at the art gallery. So.
And it was cold, and they stayed. It was
I was in a T-shirt. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, that was Tuesday night.
Oh, Tuesday night was warm?
Last Friday was cold.
Oh, okay. It's all a blur now. I'm having so much fun. I'm not even paying attention to the weather. I've distracted myself with your music, so thank you for that. It gets me in a good space, so the rest of my life is just to float through nicely. But definitely check out, if you're listening right now, feel inspired to check out soft, soothing sounds. I always find that you can put them on during the day if you're not listening to KRHV or KMMT, of course, or driving in your car. Right. And I probably wouldn't encourage you listening to it in your car because it's going to make you very relaxed.
Yes,
but
that is a side effect.
You know, it is. It really is.
There is a disclaimer on the website that talks all about that.
Is that right?
Yeah, you may not care what other people think. You may get distracted from all your ailments. You may not, your focus may be different. You may feel better, but those are side effects. And if you subscribe, it's even worse. So
you get it every day.
Yeah.
But if you can't, for whatever reason, and I think you should listen to it. Ideally, I think this is just my 2 cents. First thing in the morning, if you wake up 5:30 to be at work at 7 or 6 or something, just give yourself 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you just do 15 minutes every day, then it becomes a pattern. And give yourself a little test ski. Test it out and see. Give yourself a week or two and say, okay, let's see if this stuff works, Johnny boy, and then prove it to yourself that it's time well spent. But first thing in the morning before you build momentum towards the craziness of this thing called life on Earth.
That's right.
I had to say that with my DJ voice. But Craig, thank you so much for joining us.
You.
You're a really special person, and so much great music and what you're doing, and the inspiration by having your own ailments and overcoming them is really inspirational. Just I got to do something about this.
And I would add, if anybody wants to, contact me, any questions at the website, softsoothingsounds.com, or email at info@softsoothingsounds.com. I'd be happy to get back to you. And I've coached a lot of people through a lot of hard times, and the music and the videos have definitely helped them. And I know that from firsthand experience, that the power of nature and music together has a rejuvenating quality that nothing else does, really. So I just look forward to continuing to share it.
All right, Craig Colley, soft, soothing sounds. Shall we play a little something?
Sure. Sure.
I'm not going to play it super duper long, only because if you're driving right now, I'm so relaxed. But you'll get an idea of what Craig does. We're going to play a song called Ascend. Craig, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate you.
Really appreciate it.
All right, here we go. Ascend, Craig Colley, soft, soothing sounds. Yeah, Craig Colley with Ascend, soft, soothing sounds. You can find that on YouTube straight away, and all different choices there. All right, to our KRHV.